What's up, everybody? This is Ingram, and I'm back with another cold and another tutorial on how to use the Advanced Repulsion Systems mod. Basically, a long fancy name for the mod that lets you kill whatever you want to kill. So today we're going to look at how to defend your secret hidden rebel base from those people that you don't like, or that you do like, but that you don't want to steal stuff. Here's our hidden rebel base. I was flying through the jungle and noticed this cool little outpost, and it has its own little defense system. You kind of get stuck when you go everywhere, but also it's got little hidden tripwires that shoot arrows at you. If I try and take this chest, I get shot with an arrow. But that's not really going to defend against anybody who can see in the dark or who is basically not a putt. So what I'm going to do is, I also discovered these levers over here, and they actually open up a little secret doorway. So I kind of just hijacked the doorway, and I'm going to build a Tesla coil in here that will defend against everybody. So I came underneath our hidden little rebel installation here, and I dug a pit, and we're going to build inside this pit the thing that is going to keep everyone out. So some of the prerequisites are obviously power, and what I've done here, this is just an EU splitter cable and some glass cable. You do not need to use this. I'm not even sure if I'm going to use it, but I just put it there just in case. And then I wired this up underneath one of the sides of the building, and HV solar arrays that's what I'm using here. You don't need that, but I didn't feel like waiting for anything to charge up. And if you're going to do the EMP upgrade, which we'll get into in a second, you're going to want to make sure to have a lot of power, because you're going to try and deplete someone's armor who's using maybe quantum armor or the modular power suit. So let me just break this, and I'll show you how you can hide these things. The way we're able to do that is because if you put a cover directly above there and make sure that the path to the sky is still clear, see there's nothing obstructing, technically covers don't obstruct either. So then you just slap the HV solar array directly underneath the cover, and you know that it has a clear path to the sky and is getting power. And that's a good way to hide your power supply. Now, I ran power down the inside of this wall, and we're not going to put the Tesla coil at the bottom. We're actually going to put the EMP upgrades at the bottom. So I dug out the bottom of this pit, and I'm going to show you why, because I'm going to build this thing from the bottom up. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my upgrade multiplexer, and if I aim it up, remember that these things place in the direction that you aim, or aim in the direction that you place, rather. So what that does is it creates this with a beam of energy, laser energy, coming out of the top of it. Now this makes it extremely easy to build the rest of this whole design. So if I were to slow fall, you can actually place stuff using the laser beam that comes out of the top. So let me just get rid of this one. And there we have our tower of upgrade multiplexers, which will allow us to chain all of our upgrades together and pump them into the top where our Tesla coil is going to finally be. The next thing we're going to do is we're going to place our Tesla EMP upgrade block, and we are going to place that on this up against these multiplexers, and we're going to place these first, and we're going to place a ton of them. You may not need to do this, but I'm going to place a lot of them because we are going to try and kill somebody that has really good armor and maybe quantum armor. We want to be able to drain it. Each one of these, I believe, stores 10,000 EU. So it's the same, or 10 million? 10 million EU, I think. So it's the same as your MFSU. So I'm going to get these things going. We want to be able to charge them for a long time. So to get these things going, all I'm going to do is connect up my wiring, and I'm going to start pumping EU into them. Now, I don't think you can see how much storage they have, so you're kind of going to have to not really know. You're just going to have to guess that they're fully charged, but they will store a ton of EU each one. And now, because they're an upgrade and they're going into the upgrade multiplexer, we're going to be able to use that energy when the zapper starts zapping. The next thing we'll do is we'll do the speed upgrade, and the speed upgrade makes it so that it kills things faster. Instead of taking however many seconds per pulse, you can get it to go 9% faster. Oops, I placed that one incorrectly. You can get it to go 9% faster per speed upgrade. So you can really crank this thing if you wanted to. Next, we'll do the range upgrade, which is going to be very similar, and it just increases the radius that this thing can kill by 10 blocks per range upgrade. So you have the Tesla coil itself does 16 normally, and now if we just added it looks like 6, so we're now at 60 plus 16 is 76 block radius where we can kill anything we want. So now we have our very basic tower, but if we were to slap a Tesla coil on top of this thing, we would be dead almost instantly, and we don't want that, and we'd never be able to get back anywhere near this thing. So let's put some filters on it to make sure that it only kills who we want when we want. Okay, so to get this thing to only kill enemy players and to only kill mobs, we're going to need to specify what an enemy player is. And the way that we're going to do that, as soon as I kill this little miscreant, the way that we're going to do that is we're going to use an item detection filter. And I'm just going to place it like this. We're going to actually wrap these filters around the top of our tower, and it just makes it easy to deal with. Now the way that we're going to use that is we're going to use this thing to determine if somebody has a key. And basically this will look in a player's inventory and determine if they have an item in their inventory. Now I'm going to use the logic matrix programmer as the key, mostly because it's a rare item and people generally aren't going to walk around with one in their pocket. You can use whatever you want. You can even use a piece of rotten flesh, but the likelihood is that another enemy player is going to have one of those in there. Now if you can think of a more creative thing to use that you're sure nobody else on your server will have, then that's something that you're going to want to use. This is how it's going to determine enemies. Now the problem is that by default this thing is going to target only people that have logic matrix programmers or your key in their inventory. So we want to change that. So to do that we're going to take a programmable filter and we're going to slap it in the direction or in the interrupt area of the beam. We're just going to basically just stick it in front of it. And what we're going to do is we're going to open the filter and we're going to take what's called a difference token. And now we're going to put that in this final rightmost slot over here. And basically what this is going to say is this block here is saying target all people that have this item in their inventory. And this filter block is reversing it and saying, how about we target people that don't have that in their inventory? And that's really what we're aiming for. Next we're going to place a filter here, and I'll explain what we're going to do with that one in just a second. And we're going to place a filter aiming into our filter that we just placed like this. If you get confused at how this was going, just notice the direction of the blocks when I place them. This block here is where we're going to do most of our thinking for our Tesla coil. And what we want to do is very simple. We want to target all players and all mobs. So we're going to use the union token. This is saying take a union of all the players and all the mobs that are in range, and those are ones that qualify. And next we want to be able to turn this thing off just in case, you never know. So we're going to put this thing called redstone input token. Now what we want to do is take the intersection token, which is going to say make sure it's either a player or a mob. We don't want to target animals because we don't want people to notice that these things are suddenly dying. We're going to union those. We're going to take the group of those together, and we're going to make sure that there's also a redstone input. So if the lever for this machine is off, this machine will not work because it's told that it needs to have redstone and a good target. Now these two filters, the one right here and the one on the left side, are both aiming into this one in the middle. And the reason for that is because this side is going to kill anybody that doesn't have the logic matrix programmer, and this side is going to give us finer control, and it's going to say, why don't we only kill players and mobs, and only when we're allowed to be on. Now in this middle one, we're actually going to take and we're going to make an intersection of those two. So this is going to take, excuse me, you got to put it here, I'm sorry. And this is going to take the filter here that says kill people that do not have that item, and this one's going to say kill people and kill mobs and only when you're on, and it's going to intersect them. So now this thing will only kill players that have that item in their inventory, mobs, and only when the machine is on. Now the next thing to do is to slap a Tesla coil on this thing. Once we do this, and once we give it power, this thing is going to be live. So you really need to make sure that you've got these filters configured correctly. Now I didn't really leave myself a good wiring option here, so I'm just going to kind of wrap around the side. So how do we control whether this thing is on or off? The answer is with the use of a lever. Now, Despite what you may think, the lever itself does not go on the Tesla coil. So if we turn this on, we can see that it's immediately going to start killing all of the mobs. Now the danger with this is its range is pretty massive, so it's going to kill the mobs in any connected cave networks, anything within its range that's a mob is going to actually die. So let's turn it off for just a quick second, and I'm going to show you how this thing handles people that do not have the key in their inventory. Now remember, our key is actually this logic matrix programmer, and this is from the factorization mod. If you do not have this, don't worry, pick something else that's rare but that you will always be able to have in your inventory. If I go ahead and turn this thing on, we can see that it's lighting up. If you see the wavelengths were there we go. It was just zapping people. So now if I take this, I'm on creative so I won't die, and if I take this out of my inventory, you can see that it's immediately targeting me, and it will target me no matter where I am. It's going to try and kill me until I have the key back safely in my inventory, at which point it will leave me alone. Now perhaps the last thing you're going to want to do is make this thing so you can't actually see what's killing you. If you notice, there is a giant white laser beam or lightning bolt that actually comes out and kills things. So how do we hide that? Well, the answer is quite simple. If we take this item, and it's called a wavelength shift upgrade, and we slap it up there against our Tesla coil, that beam is now going to be entirely invisible. So people will be getting killed and they'll have no idea what's going on. So this thing looks cool. You can turn it on and off. You can't see it, can't see what it's doing. That's all well and good, but will it actually kill someone in full quantum armor? And will it kill them only if they do not have the key? What I've done is I've gone ahead and given myself full quantum armor that's fully charged. For that one, for some reason, I was running around. They're all fully charged, and I have the Logix Matrix Programmer in my inventory. Now, I was gonna not do this without creative mode on, but I'm gonna just show you how devastating this is. So I'm gonna go ahead, and I'm gonna take this out of my inventory, and I honestly have no idea how much charge it's stored, but let's see if it'll kill me. Wow, full quantum armor, and I was dead in less than 2 seconds. So thankfully, I respawned far enough away from my hidden rebel base, but this one thing you need to watch out for. If you die and by accident, say you take something out of your inventory, you forget that it's your key, you get zapped, you get pasted, while your crap goes spilling all over the place, it's going to be a problem for you. So you're going to want to either find where the spawn point is and have a backup key. It's not advisable to make that thing in your main base. You might want to make a dummy base that people can see, and that's where they think you are, but really you have your secret rebel base, your hidden rebel base, farther away. That way, man, I can't even get back. That way you don't have problems where you get locked out of your own base. Make a little secret base, hide in there somewhere another duplicate key, or instructions on where to find another key. Get as elaborate as you want or as you need to. Now watch, I'm in range, and I didn't have the thing in my inventory, so it killed me again. So make sure to keep that in mind. You can lock yourself out of your own base, but that's the way to keep everybody else out of your base that you don't want in there. Guys, hope you enjoyed. Sorry it's been a long time coming. A lot of people asking for it, so I finally get around to doing it. I wanted to wait for the new TechIt version as well, so that's another reason. I'll use it as another lame excuse, but there you go. That's how to kill people that aren't yours. Please do not go and set that up in somebody else's base. That's just wrong. Enjoy, and thanks for watching, and stay poised.